Hi everybody, how are you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing okay. And life has been treating you good. I'm doing well. The weather's nice, so I am happy. It's not too hot, it's not too cold. Perfect weather in London. Guys, so yeah. Today, today's musings have come to my head for two different reasons. Two separate reasons, but they all kind of pretty much point at the topic I'm trying to talk about. So if you're in the UK, or maybe not even just in the UK, if you're someone who's into, do I want to say celebrity news, maybe, then you would know about this situation with Mo Gillingham and his child's mother. So for people who don't know the story, I'll just briefly summarize. So he's a black, doesn't even matter whether he's black or white, that's irrelevant to what I'm trying to say. Mo is obviously a guy, he's a celebrity, I don't know, is he a celebrity? I don't know, he's the comedian, a news, I don't know, TV personality. Anyway, he had a girlfriend, they had a baby. I don't think, it sounds like the baby was not planned, or he didn't, not that it sounds, the baby was not planned, he didn't want the baby, from what we're finding out. Anyway, baby was born, girlfriend said that he was in the picture, but, there'll be times that he'd come to see the baby, and when he takes the baby out, he'll kind of like hide, wear his face cap and wear sunglasses to disguise. He didn't want people to see him with the baby for whatever reason. Sorry guys, I'm laughing because it sounds ridiculous, but that is what she says. And now the bottom line is, I think he's met somebody else. I think she's even pregnant, the new person, and he's now not interested in their child. And I think she was also saying that his family, his mom used to check in on her and the baby, and now the mom doesn't do that. So the mom's just basically gone AWOL. So the views are divided. We have the people who are saying, well, at the end of the day, the baby is here. He should be supportive. He should be a hands-on dad. Baby didn't ask to be here. And so, he's wrong, basically, for what he's doing. Then we have the other camp who are saying that, he didn't want the baby. She went ahead and had the baby. Why is she now trying to basically force the baby down his throat? Forcing him to be a dad when he wasn't ready to be a dad. So those are the two different camps. So as it's my musings, though, it's just my own view. So I was thinking about it and I was speaking to different people about it. And it seems like the the people I spoke to are on his side, more on his side, saying basically he didn't want to be a dad. You basically, I don't want to say you forced him to be a dad. Obviously, if you're having relations with a woman and you don't take precautions and she falls pregnant, then you can't say she forced you to be a dad. But bottom line is, she fell pregnant, and she decided to have the baby, and so she should deal with raising the baby by herself and not focus on trying to make him to be a father to that child when he doesn't want to be. So that seems to be the general consensus amongst the people that I've spoken to. And I get that. And to some extent, I agree with that. But I'm not sitting on the fence. I'm not someone who sits on the fence, but I like to, check out both sides. So yes, I hear that, but I also feel like the child is here. This child didn't ask to be born. The child is born. The child is here. You're the dad. You're the parent. You're here. What's stopping you from being a father to that child? The child is already here. So it's a bit divided. So I get it. I don't know what people think. I'm keen to know what people think about that situation, because that situation, yes, it's about Mo, but it applies to so many people. It applies to so many single parents, mainly single mothers, because we're the ones that would birth the child and are left with the baby. So I want to know what people think about that. Um, and it's not about no one's trying to bash anybody. It's not about being a deadbeat. That it's not none of that. I just want to know, what do people think about that? Um, if a baby is born, father doesn't want to be in the picture. Should he be expected to be in the picture? Yeah. So what do people think? And another thing I try and explain to my clients, female clients, when they come to me and they're upset that the child's fathers don't, or the children's fathers don't want to be in the picture, they struggle to understand that there's no law here in the UK, at least, that will force a father, or not just a father, a parent, any parent, to be in the child's life if the parent doesn't want to. And the what where there's the issue is the parents with the children don't understand, and they just don't agree with it. But it's not about that, it's about the law. And I get the reasoning behind the law. If a parent does not want to spend time with their child, or want to be involved in the child's life, and you force that parent to, maybe by way of a court order, all you're doing is placing that child at risk of harm. By harm, I don't mean the parent. I don't even mean physical harm. It'll be emotional, it'll be psychological, because the child will know, listen, I'm with dad, I'm with mom, they don't want to be with me. Sometimes you hear children go to spend time with the parents, and the parents are on the phone or hanging with, or the friends come and visit, everybody's having fun, and no one's looking, the parents not even playing with the child or caring for the child. So that's the reasoning behind it. So, yeah, what do you think in that situation? Do you think that the child is already here, and that parent, even though they didn't want the child to be here, but if they are capable of being a parent to that child, why not? The child is already here. How the child came about, or should that really determine whether or not you should be a parent? If, for example, you said I don't want to be a dad, and the woman goes ahead and has a child, should the child now be punished for their mother's decision to keep them? I don't even want to go into the argument of, terminations and it being the woman's body, and that's a whole different topic I don't even want to go into, because sometimes I hear, oh, well, she should have just had a termination. Having a termination comes with it's a lot. So I wouldn't even go into that. The woman may not want to put her body through that. There's also the psychological, the emotional stress that comes with that on the woman. It's a lot. So I wouldn't go into that. I'm just going to stick to the topic in my head, which I've explained. Should women just go ahead and just care for their children if the fathers are not don't want to be involved, or should there be an expectation on the father to be there for their child since the child's already been born? There's a popular Nigerian celebrity. Is he a celebrity? I guess he is. Everybody knows about this one, I'm sure. Even if you're not on social media, you would know who apparently has a baby by this lady, his Kenyan lady, and he's refusing. He's refusing to even interact with her. Now the baby's born here, and the woman is going crazy, dragging him on social media every day. So that one springs to mind. But that one is entertaining. That one is entertaining. And this topic is very interesting to me because I've heard different things. Some people say, I've heard the word feminist being thrown around. First of all, I don't like that word. I don't know what feminist is. I just feel like if you're a human being, you should want what's fair for male and for female. That's how I would prefer to see myself. Not a feminist, not interested. I'm not known anywhere on any platform for that. I just speak my mind. So that one's been thrown about. There's that bit. Then there's a bit that they say that I support men. I'm always supporting men. And in fact, this has even led, I'm not even going to get into the details, but it's led to somebody making an application to a judge saying something about me supporting fathers having contact with their children. And it's just, to me, that was just crazy. But both views, I love both views because it just makes me know that I am someone who wants to be fair. I like to think that I'm fair, and I like to think about things from both sides, regardless of where I am in that situation. So it's not about me. It's just a situation, and I try to balance out. If it was a man, would this be fair? If it was a woman, would that be fair? That, for me, that's how I think, and that's how I, even in my professional life, that's how I reason. So that's that issue to one side. My next issue is within the, let me say the Nigerian community. I don't like to generalize it because I haven't done any research on other communities to know their views. So I like to stick to the Nigerian community. I don't want to stretch it to the black community because I may be wrong, and I don't want to be quoted for being wrong. We place so much emphasis on fathers. There's so much emphasis on fathers, and let me explain a little bit more. Following on from this story, this scenario that I just gave, where the guy didn't want the child, mother wanted the child. She's gone ahead and had the child. And now they're having issues because she wants the man in the picture, and the man clearly doesn't want to be in the picture. He's moved on. Okay, so let me relate it back to our community. Number one, if you're a woman and you are unmarried, you're in a relationship, you're unmarried, or even if you're not in a relationship, you're just unmarried, and you're whatever, going up about your life and interacting with whoever, and you fall pregnant. The man makes it very clear, listen, I'm not interested, right? I don't want this baby. You do what you want to do. In fact, have a termination. You say, no, I don't want a termination. I want to have the child. So the same thing. And that's why I'm doing this Musings, because yes, it's about Mo's situation, but it applies to a lot of people. You as a woman, you go ahead and have that child. First of all, my number one question is, why are you expected to give that child the man's surname in our community? Why? A man has told you, the child's father has said to you, I don't want this child. Terminate this child. Or he may even have said to you, it's not even my child. Let's even throw that one in, right? Because that's a popular one. He may have said to you, that's not my child. Or even if he accepts that, okay, yes, that's my child, he says to you, listen, I don't want this child. I'm not ready for whatever reason. I don't know, whatever reason. But bottom line is, he tells you he doesn't want a child. He doesn't want this child that you're carrying. You as a woman decide, you know what? No, I'm going to have this child. And you have this child. Why? Why is a woman expected by community to give that child a man's surname? Why? So that's my first thing. Number two, my second thing, and this one is people want to pull out their hair about this one. And again, it doesn't make any sense to me. Why is it expected that man's name should be put on the child's birth certificate? That's another thing. Why? What's the emotional reasoning behind I must put his name on the birth certificate? He said he does not want to be involved. He told you clearly, I don't want to be involved. Why are you putting his name on the birth certificate? Is it for, who are you putting that name for? Is it for the child? The child would know their father if you guys have that conversation. The child would know who their father is. But why do you feel that the man's name needs to be on the child's birth certificate? Why is there that expectation? Why can't that section be blank? Being blank does not mean that the child's father is unknown. Yeah, if you wanted that, you put unknown there. It's blank. So why is it like the biggest thing, the biggest, uh, why is it like a big issue that his name is not on the birth certificate? Why should it be on the birth certificate? I think that sometimes, first of all, many people just live life for society, and you do things based on, oh, that's what society, that's what I have to do. Why? Who told you that? Why do you have to live your life based on society's views? And I think that a lot of us are programmed to think from how things were back then when, it was unheard of, really. How many people, it was unheard of, really. I don't know how many people I heard of growing up had children out of wedlock. I don't know. I can't remember. It may be one. But that's not the situation now. There's so many people that are single mothers for whatever reason. It could be that your relationship, I'm not talking about people that are married. This Musings has not, I'm not talking about married people. This is not about married people. I'm talking about unmarried people. It's nothing to do. Married people, you marry, put the man's name on the birth certificate. Even if you don't put it here in the UK, if the child was born when you were married, the dad already has parental responsibility, shares parental responsibility with the mother. That's the standard here in the UK, at least. So I'm not talking about people that are married. Married people, yes, marry, give the child the father's surname, put the father on the birth certificate. That's different. That's not what I'm talking. I'm talking about, that's the different group. So maybe I should have made that clear. I'm talking about people that are unmarried. Why is it if you're married, the man has told you from the jump, no, I am not interested? Why? First of all, do you feel the child must have the father's surname, number one? Number two, why do you think the father's name must be on the child's birth certificate? Why? And then let me even move it along. If you're in the UK and you are unmarried and you have a child, the minute you register that child's birth and you put the man's name on the birth certificate, right? Already that means the man shares parental responsibility for that child with you. So that's the law in the UK. I don't know about America or other places, but in the UK, that is a law. So what I've seen now in my job as a family solicitor is that some of these men who were not interested they made it very clear to the mom, the child's mother, I'm not interested, leave me alone, leave me out, don't call me, whatever. When it suits them, because you've named them on the birth certificate and they know that they share parental responsibility with you, they will just decide one day to wake up and make your life a living hell. That is what I'm seeing. And I'm talking from what I'm seeing in my professional day-to-day life. So I know what I'm saying. This man, for example, somebody may tell him, you have a child, you can use this child to get your stay. The man will now come and now make an application, start dragging you through the courts, saying, oh, I want contact with my child. This child, you didn't want this child from the beginning, no? Now you now want this child because it now suits you. Someone may say, if the child, if you can say that the child lives with you or stays with you for how many weekends in the month, that reduces your child's support. You will now see this man in court fighting for contact. Or some of them will even fight that they want the child to live with them. Because you've made it easy for them. You've gone and put the man's name on the birth certificate. If his name is not on the birth certificate, he first of all has to make an application to the court for permission to make an application. Yeah? He needs to first of all make an application for permission to make an application. And somebody that's not serious, they will see that as a very long step and they'll just bounce. They'll just be like, this is too much to be making an application to make an application. It's too much. And usually the courts will grant that application in the end. If you're not disputing paternity, the court will grant the application. But I'm just saying it's a longer process. And someone who's not genuine, whose motivation for the application is not genuine, will just be like, I can't be bothered. It's too much hassle. Yeah? But a lot of people, because of sentimental reasons, oh no, I don't want my child's birth certificate to be empty where it says father. Oh no, you now go and put his name. He now becomes a nightmare. then if you want to get travel documents, he becomes a nightmare. If you want to travel, he becomes a nightmare, because now there are things about, oh, you need father's consent, you need this, you need that. So people just need to be thinking, just think. Don't be emotional, don't be sentimental, don't, be reasonable in your thinking. Be reasonable in your thinking. From the minute you know that you're going to raise this child by yourself, where it's been made clear to you, it's different if you didn't know. If it's been made clear to you that, listen, I don't want this child, then stop being emotional. Don't be emotional. And don't think that, oh, I've had this child. No, you must see the child. No, he said he doesn't want to see the child. I was listening to this Mo's, the mother of Mo's baby. She was saying, oh, my child is so beautiful. Why wouldn't he want to, go? Why wouldn't he want to be seen out with the child? Oh, he doesn't want. He told you he doesn't want. Leave him alone. If someone says they don't want, then leave them alone. Raise your child by yourself. Raise your child by yourself. And try and give your child the best that you can give your child. But also try and make life easier for yourself by this kind of things that I said about the birth certificate and all these sorts of things. It's just ridiculous. Our people, we need to start, women, Nigerian women, black women, people need to start normalizing thinking that you are enough. You can raise your child. Yes, we all want two-parent households, even if you're not together, even if you're not married. Yes, you want the man in the picture. But when the man tells you, I am not prepared to be in the picture, go and you decide to have your child, raise your child by yourself. Stop this. It's embarrassing. For me, it's embarrassing. Like when I'm listening to that Kenyan woman, every day she's on Instagram, dragging the man, come and do DNA. He said he doesn't want. You can't force somebody to be accountable. You cannot. You can't force somebody to be accountable. I mean, in her own, I kind of understand. I think she wants child maintenance. So I guess maybe her motivation is different. But if your motivation is money, then I guess that's your route. You can be dragging the person and trying to force them. Force them to accept that they're the father. That's a whole different thing. I'm not talking about money motivated situations. I'm talking about if you have a child and you want to raise a child and the dad says from the beginning, although I'm not interested, raise your child by yourself. Raise your child by yourself. So all these things, and that, my musings don't have any beginning and they don't have any end. I just speak from as I'm thinking. I don't write anything before I start doing my musings because it just reminds me of work. Some of the things, some of our mindset, we need to just let go of the ancient archaic mindset. Things have changed. Things have moved on. These are not the days of our parents. Not the days of our parents. Things have moved on. People have had children the women are raising children by themselves. So this thing about that, trying to make somebody feel bad. Oh, your child has your surname. Why would you give a child a surname of someone who doesn't want to be a father? It just makes no sense to me. It just really makes it to me. It's very simple. I don't know why people complicate life. It's very simple. You now rush, go and put his name on the birth certificate. He said he doesn't want. He said he does not want. I mean, if you're trying to maybe claim child maintenance, yes, of course, it would help. But even that, the man can still say, I'm not the father. Just putting his name on the birth certificate doesn't mean anything. Can still say, okay, I'm on the birth certificate, but I'm not the dad. Then you now have to start dealing with trying to figure out DNA testing to send to the child maintenance service. So that he can pay you whatever it is. Oh God, my people. Listen, I'm gonna just end this. This was I keep saying that I won't be long when I do my musings, but some of them are longer than others just because I don't know. I think sometimes I'm an alien because some of my thought processes when I share with people, they look at me as if I'm talking gibberish. But to me, it just makes sense. It really does make sense. So yes, and men as well. I'm dragging women today, but men, if you know that you're not ready to have a child with someone, you're also responsible for taking precautions. Don't leave it just to the woman. You are responsible. You should be responsible. In fact, you should be more responsible, seeing as you already know you don't want the child. It may be that the woman wants the child, so she may not be bothered. But you already know you don't want the child. So why would you not take the appropriate steps to avoid from your own end? Why? You just have children and then you just don't want to be in the picture. And it's the children that in the end will suffer. You think it's the women. Some women suffer, the ones that are busy being upset about, oh, he's rejected my child. But ultimately, it's the child that suffers. So everybody should be responsible. The women, if you're going to have a baby, be responsible. And know that, okay, I'm going to have a baby. I'm going to raise this baby by myself. And focus on your child. Just leave the man alone. Focus on your child. You, the man, if you know that you don't want a child, take your precautions. So we're not going to be having all these bastards dragging up and down. It's just ridiculous. Anyway, guys, this came to my mind today. I'm like, you know what? Let me do a musings about this. Yeah. Okay, guys. I think that's it. I have done my therapy session. I have offloaded what was in my head to free up space for more thoughts. And yeah, I'll be back with more musings as and when things pop up in this crazy head of mine. Yes, until then, guys, I'm leaving you with peace, love. Take care of yourselves and let's stay safe. The world is a little bit scary right now. Too many wars, too many things, too many deaths, too many kidnappings, killings. It's just ridiculous. So take care of yourselves. And please share. Let me know your thoughts. With my musings, I really appreciate people letting me know their thoughts because musings are very different from, as you know, just me interviewing, having a podcast session with somebody. My musings, I really want to know if people are thinking what I'm thinking or if I'm the only one thinking what I'm thinking. It would really help if you guys could comment and interact with me, especially on my musings. Let me know what you think. Okay? Okay, guys. Thank you for listening, and I'm waiting to hear back from you all. Bye.